Hi everyone, sorry I haven't been uploading for so long. I've been busy with a move. Okay, so for today's video, it's gonna be only audio, so I can push this video out even quicker, and so I can get this information to you guys as soon as possible. Okay, so today we are gonna talk about the Engine 2 7-day rescue challenge and the 7 pillars uh, that will help guide you on how to live a healthy whole food plant-based diet. Okay, so today we are going to do a serious dive into the 7 pillars while building the daily habits that will allow you to sustain whole food plant-based lifestyle and the result that it delivers over the long haul. So I'm going to do this entire video unedited, so sometimes you might hear me coughing or reading words wrongly, mispronouncing, or maybe even drinking water. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so this plan is based on Rip Esselstyn, the Engine 2 7-day rescue challenge, which is derived from his father, Dr. Cadwell Esselstyn research over the last 30 plus years, and it matches his no-nonsense approach that he details in his book Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. This is simply a varsity program and is not for everyone. Who is it for? It is for anyone that is looking to aggressively reverse symptoms that has been caused by the standard American diet. It is for anyone who has been avoiding to go to the doctor because they know a stack of prescription is waiting for them. Or it's for anyone who is currently taking a stack of medication that they want to get off. And is for anyone that feels buried under excessive weight, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, etc. If you're wondering what a week of eating this way can do, these are the results that are very typical in 7 days. Weight loss is typically on average 1.4 kilograms. There are some people who lose upwards of 4 to 5 kilograms in 7 days. Blood pressure typically 10/5, 10 being systolic and 5 being diastolic. Cholesterol, total cholesterol, the average drop is 26 points. We had many people drop over 100 points in just 7 days. The LDL, which is the lethal cholesterol, 24 milligrams per deciliter is the average drop. Triglyceride, which is the function of amount of fat in your blood, the average drop is 23 milligrams per deciliter. And then it comes to medication. We find that people are typically reducing down their medication or they are going off them completely. And we like this to be in conjunction, of course, with your medical provider. And then, of course, there are all the intangibles like increasing energy, better sleep, reduction, if not elimination, of acid reflux, inflammation being reduced, joint pain being reduced, back pain being reduced, and constipation going away. So these are all exciting things that can occur in just 7 days of you test driving this lifestyle and following these 7 simple pillars. So let's dive into the 7 pillars. Here they are. Buckle your seat belts and let's tackle the 7 pillars. And I promise you, if you follow these 7 pillars to the T, you will be stunned and amazed that you're at where you are at the end of the week. When it comes to your numbers, when it comes to your weight loss, when it comes to how you feel, your energy, all these things will be enhanced tremendously in just again 7 days. So let's jump in. Pillar number 1 is why we love plants. This is where the true deep dive in nutrition lives. This is where all the glory is found, the genesis of everything that's bountiful and wonderful and honorable in nutrition is found in plants. It is not found in a single piece of red meat, chicken, fish, cheese, sour cream, ice cream, what have you, right? These are the true weak foods that are going to wreak havoc on your health. The true heroes are plant-based wondrous foods. Let me riff for a second on animal products and animal byproducts because they are so pernicious in nature and insidiously destructive. They are not strong foods, they are not smart foods, they are weak few. They contain just all the building blocks that promote chronic Western diseases. whether it's dietary cholesterol, whether it's saturated fats, small amount of trans fats, whether it's a weak, janky, clunky form of protein that just does a number on our body. You have got heme iron that promotes oxidative stress. You got carnitine and lysine that promotes TMAO that drives your LDL cholesterol that much deeper into your arteries that cause plaque formation. You got something called HCH, heterocyclic amines, that are formed when you cook any meat, red meat, chicken, fish, turkey, and these are carcinogens. You have got the accumulation of pollutants and heavy metals that are in the fats of these animal products. So these are not smart, strong foods. And then when it comes to dairy products, that means products that comes from milk. You know, dairy product has the exact same DNA as meat. So I want you to start thinking of cheese, for example, as hardened meat. Cheese is really just dairy crack. It is loaded with saturated fat. In fact, it is the number one source of saturated fat in American diet. It is loaded with cholesterol and problematic cheese in the form of casein. That is the number one tumor and cancer promoter in the American diet. So cheese, throw that out the window. Next, we got yogurt. Rib refers to yogurt as runny meat. Everyone reaches for the Greek yogurt that has twice the amount of protein. It has twice the amount of insidiously destructive, cancer-promoting casein that is a carcinogen. So let's not fall for that. Okay, I drink water first. Ice cream is frozen meat. It is just fat and sugar, and of course, we adore it. But it does not adore us or our health. So that's frozen meat. And you know what liquid meat is? These are all your cow's milk, your whole milk, your 2%, your 1%, your skim milk, and your no-fat milk. This should really be re-legislated just to baby cows. As Dr. Michael Clapper likes to say, cow's milk is baby calf growth fluid. And it's never meant for us as human beings, and it's just a cocktail of estrogens, growth hormones, and the wrong kind of protein, the wrong kind of fats. We want to do our best to stay away from all iterations of cow's milk. Pillar number 2 is why we love whole plant-based foods. So just because something is plant-based doesn't make it healthy. This was a mistake I made in the past. And there is an absolute slew of plant-based junk food that is literally littering our grocery store shelves, and it is making it easier to eat plant-based, but it's also at the same time not being healthy at the same time. So we want to be focusing on plant-based foods that we are eating. I like to keep it very simple. Let's eat food as close as Okay, this is a bit of tongue twister. Let's eat food as close to grown as possible. That is minimally processed, that contains all the fiber, all the water, all the vitamin and minerals, all the phytonutrients, the antioxidant, the water, the protein, the carbs, and the fats. So, for example, plant-based junk food that is out there that has really gripped so many of us is French fries. I just ate some French fries just now. We take the all amazing potato that is 3% fat, we dunk it into oil, and then we bring it out, and now it's 51% fat. That's not a smart plant-based choice. We've got all these fake cheese that are out there that are littering our shelves. Sorry, I tired already. We got all these fake cheese that are out there that are littering our shelves. Your diet cheese, for example, that is 70% cheese. Wow. Your diet cheese, for example, that is 70% fat, and the second ingredient is canola oil. You got donuts that are basically just oil, white sugar, and white flour. It is vegan, it is plant-based, but it's not a healthy food. You've got all these plant-based ice creams now that are making its rounds, including Ben and Jerry's that are coming out with 11 different flavor profiles, but they are not healthy. You've got all the veggie burgers, including Beyond Meat and Impossible Burger, and the Impossible Burger, they are insanely delicious and tasty, but they do not have one whole food ingredient in them. And yes, they are healthier than ground meat hamburgers, but they are not gonna get you anywhere you want to be if you are trying to reverse heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and lose weight. Alcohol, yes, it's plant-based, but it's a known toxin to every organ in the body. All the cereals adorning the shelves are loaded with fat and sugar. The buttery spreads like Earth Balance bread that people are so fond of is 100% fat. 1 tablespoon is 100 calories and fat. Not a smart choice. Fried chips, all these energy bars that are loaded with fat, sugar, salt. Again, not whole, wonderful, plant-based foods. We are talking about potatoes, we are talking about oats, steel-cut oats, mangoes, kale, broccoli, butternut squash, strawberries, bananas, black bean, lentils, sweet potatoes. You get the picture. The number one processed food that's out there that accounts for close to 360 to 250 calories per day per person comes from oils. Plant-based oils in the form of canola oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil, and these are the most concentrated sources of calories on the planet. They contain almost no nutritional oomph or value that we speak of. They are a black hole of nutritional nothingness, and we want to get all our fats and all our oils from whole plant-based foods. Have some olives instead of having olive oil. Have some corn instead of having corn oil. Have some walnuts instead of having walnut oil. Have some ground flaxseed meal instead of having flaxseed oil. I know that you guys get the point. Alright, the next pillar, pillar number 3, is why we do not want to drink our food. We want to macerate it. We want to chew our food like the other thousands of mammals on this planet right now. So what are we going to drink? We are going to drink water, good old H2O for this week. And if you got to do coffee, make it black. Don't add the sugar or add the creamer. If you look from sunup to sundown how most people eat, or should I say how most people drink during the course of the day, that is, it typically adds up to 750 to 1,250 calories, which is in some cases accounts for 50% of your caloric consumption. It starts with your coffee with sugar and creamer, then our juices, whether it's apple, orange, pineapple, mango, you name it. Then we have our soy mocha frappuccino, and we have a little soda pop as a little pick-me-up later in the day. Then we have our green juice after our little workout. We have some muscle milk and or some other form of protein shake or powder. We drink some coconut water, which is basically sugar water. We got a glass of wine to unwind at night. All these add up, right? I mean, it's 100, 200, 300 calories per pop. And the problem is that each of these are liquid calories, and they are not registered by our brain or stomach as calories, and you will consume the same amount of solid food on top of any liquid calories you are consuming. So, chew your food, macerate. You're gonna love it and feel. Oh my god, how could I pronounce this? There's no way I look it up.
Satiate.
Oh, you're gonna love it and feel very satiating as well. I could have pronounced that word just now. Okay? Okay. Pillar number 4. This is a biggie. It's why we want to be mindful of caloric density. And caloric density is how many calories that are given in a pound of food. And once you master this, you can basically kiss goodbye to portion control, counting calories, starving yourself, measuring your food, counting points. All that can go out the window because you are focusing on pillar number 2, which is why we love whole plant-based foods. You are eating foods that are so bountiful in water and fiber and bulking capacity that these foods have the wonderful ability to fill you up before you have the time to take in too many calories, and at the same time you are eating an abundance of food. This is in no shape or form about deprivation. So the beautiful thing when you're eating whole plant-based foods like fruits and vegetables and potatoes and intact grains like brown rice, quinoa, and pearl barley, I was scrolling, and pearl barley, you are eating legumes like lentils, split peas, and black beans and pinto beans. All these foods have a caloric density somewhere between 100 on the low end to your leafy greens to about 600 on the high end when it comes to your lentils. And because your caloric density is low, that you literally have to eat about 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds of food a day just to meet your 250 caloric needs daily, which is the recommended daily allowance. When you're focusing on animal-based foods, refined carbohydrates like white sugar, white bread, Oreo cookies, donuts, and bagels, you are doing a lot of junk foods like fried chips, ice cream, nuts, nut butter, and a lot of processed oil that are out there. All these have the caloric density of 1,200 to 1,400 calories a pound, and this is where 94% of Americans are consuming their calories from their processed refined foods, from dairy products and animal-based products, and that's why 75% of the countries are now the 75% of America is considered overweight or obese. So you can pivot on these foods that are so traditionally comfortable with and we are fond of, so you can pivot from those and exclusively focus again on fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, and limited amounts of nuts and seeds. This is a complete game changer. Have you watched the movie? Okay, so and now you are eating copious amounts of foods for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, again without having to measure, count, or starve yourself. Let me give you an example here. So a pound of grape is around 200 calories. A pound of raisin, which is dried grapes, which you remove the water from, is now around 1,600 calories, almost a six-fold difference. That's why it's not recommended during the 7-day rescue program that you eat dried fruits because it's too calorically dense. Another example is pasta. Pasta is about 550 calories per pound. We do not mind pasta, but the problem with pasta is what you put on your pasta. Is it the meatball? Is it the Alfredo sauce? Is it the cheese sauce? This is where all the calories really come from. But you have pasta that is 550 calories a pound, and then on the flip side you have bread, which is about 1,500 calories a pound. Why is there almost a threefold difference in between pasta and bread? And that's the answer is because we've cooked pasta in water, and water actually brings down the calorie density almost threefold to what bread is. So we got to be really careful with bread, and I recommend if you are going to do bread, do open face sandwiches without the lid. Another example is potatoes. Potatoes are about 350 calories a pound, and they are one of the most satiating one of the most satiating wonderful foods in the world. But when you eat sweet potato, when you take the sweet potato and cut it up into sticks and dip it into oil, now you have a caloric density of close to 2,000 calories a pound. All your oils are 4,000 calories a pound on average. Your animal products, your red meat, your chicken, your fish are between 1,000 to 102,000. Sorry, I drink water. Your animal products, your red meat, your chicken, your fish are between 1,000 to 1,200. Your ice cream is closer to 2,000. It is a game changer. Keep this in mind. Pillar number 5 is why we want to limit protein. Now the reality is I'm not going to ask you to limit protein. But for the first time in your life, you're not going to be protein toxic. You're not going to be swimming in too much protein. And in fact, of the matter is, I want you to know that more protein doesn't equal greater health. In fact, more protein equals more heart disease, more diabetes, more insulin resistance, more cancer, more inflammation diseases, all these things. And when you are eating whole food plant-based diet, the protein you are getting is much smarter, wiser, and a wonderful form of friendly protein. It's very alkaline in nature. So the two myths I want to clear up here, one is that you're not going to be eating enough protein, and two, that proteins that we get from plants aren't complete, because both are completely bogus. Number one, as human beings, we need between 5 to 10% of our calories to come from protein. You will not get below that eating a plant-based diet. And that is because all of your plant-based foods have between 5 to 5. Because all of your plant-based foods, oh my god, I'm very tired. Wait. And that is because almost all of your plant-based foods have between 5 to 50% of their calories coming from protein. Just to give you a quick example, your average vegetable is about 25% protein. Your average green leafy vegetable is 35% protein. On the high end, spinach is 51% protein. Your average bean is 25% protein. On the high end, your edamame is right about 40% protein. Your average whole intact grain is 14% protein. And on the high end, we got quinoa at about 18. The low end, we got rice and brown rice, which is right about 9% protein. Your average potato right about 10% protein, and your average fruit is about 6.5% protein. Okay, so nobody listening to this will be hospitalized for protein deficiency, and if you do this for 7 days or 7 years or even 7 decades, it's not going to happen. As long as you're consuming enough calories, you'll be getting enough protein. The next thing I want you to know is that when you're eating plants, you're getting all the 9 essential amino acids. Proteins are just chains of amino acids that are connected together. And these are around 20 amino acids, and 29 of them are considered essential amino acids, meaning that we have to get them from our food because our body can't synthesize them on their own. And whether it is black beans, strawberry, kale, mango, Swiss chard, each one of these contain all 9 of the essential amino acids. Whether it's oh my god, so many. Okay, I'm gonna skip the names. So the 9 essential amino acids. In the perfect proportion and composition. Oh my god. In the perfect proportion and composition, it is not lacking. Look around the globe. Look at all these great athletes on the planet now. Whether it's Nick Djokovic that won his 5th Wimbledon, his 16th Grand Slam title, all plant-based. Look at Nimao Digdagano, bodybuilder on the cover of Muscle and Fitness April 2018, who has never eaten a piece of meat. He is plant strong. Look at Animal Honnold. Oh my god, Animal Honnold. Look at Alex Honnold, who free soloed up El Capitan over 3,000 vertical feet in 3 hours and 58 minutes. He does not do meat, he is plant-based. And you too can thrive eating plant-based foods that are loaded with all the protein you need and with all the complete essential amino acid you need. Pillar number 6. This is going to make you a label reading ninja warrior. And it's why we are going to limit the amount of sugar, salt and fat that we are consuming on a daily basis. We are overdosing on salt, sugar and fat like it's our job, and it's not doing anything to help us when it comes to our health. There was a book written several years ago by the former head of the FDA, Dr. David Kessler, and it's called The End of Overeating. In it, he talks about how these food manufacturers, these food companies, these restaurants, they put salt on top of sugar on top of fat. And then they put more salt on top of sugar on top of fat. And then they have the unmitigated gall to put more salt on top of sugar on top of fat. And they do this to get you addicted to their food. So one of the things that we want to do in the course of this 7-day rescue and beyond is we got to downregulate these receptors that we have in our brain for salt, for sugar, and for fat. And in order to do that, we have to learn how to read labels because these food companies are very, very tricky. So we want to bring our daily consumption of salt, of sodium, down to below 1,500 milligrams. Most Americans get between 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium on a daily basis. It's one of the reasons why close to a quarter of American adults are on are on some sort of hypertension medication. So we got to read labels. There are only two things I want you to look out for when it comes to salt. The first thing I want you to do is look at the number of calories per serving, and then when you want to look at the number of milligrams of sodium per serving, and then you want those to be in the 1-to-1 ratio or less. So I'll give you a quick example. Okay, so you got a can of Amy soup. Hi Amy. I drink water. Okay, so you got a can of Amy soup. You got 200 calories per serving, and you want the milligram of sodium to be 200 or less. You're not gonna believe how many Jack to the gills. Oh my god, what am I saying? You're not gonna believe how jacked to the gills so many of these products are when it comes to sodium. The next thing is sugar. On average, most Americans are consuming 30 added teaspoons of sugar a day when it comes to 160 plus pounds of sugar a year. It's absolutely ridiculous. We want to bring it down to 2 teaspoons of sugar a day or less. And in order to do that, we want to do one thing. In order to do that, we want to do one thing. When it comes to reading labels, when it comes to sugar, we just go straight to the ingredient list. I want you to make sure that there's no sugar in the first 3 ingredients. Alright, by law, these manufacturers have to list in descending order by weight each ingredient in the product. So if you see no sugar in the first 3 ingredients, it's a great start. The next thing you want to do is to make sure that there are no more than 3 types of added sugar below that. Then you are in good shape. The last thing is fats. When it comes to fats, most Americans get 35 to 50% of their daily calories coming from fats. And most of these calories are coming from unhealthy unsaturated fats. Not unsaturated fats. They are coming from unhealthy saturated fats, trans fats, and the likes. So during the 7-day rescue, I want you to focus on the polyunsaturated omega-3s and omega-6s that are essential for us to turn our health around. So to make sure that you are not overdosing on the wrong kind of fats, I want you to do this when you are reading the label. I want you to make sure that no more than 25% of the calories are coming from fats. You got to do a little math here, and then the next thing you want to do is look at the ingredients, and you got to look through there. And we want to make sure there is no hydrogenated oils, there are no palm oils, there are no processed oils like olive, sunflower, safflower, and coconut oil. We want to make sure that the fat in the product is just naturally occurring fat from the whole food. Those are the 3, okay, for salt, sugar, and fats. Okay, so next, pillar number 7 on why we want to move. Sitting, okay, I'm sitting now also. Sitting has been becoming the new smoking. It is amazing how much time Americans now spend sitting. On our way to work, we sit. During our commute, we sit. At work, we sit. At lunch, we sit. We sit in the afternoon where we are at work. We sit on our way home on our commute. We sit at dinner, and we are so exhausted from sitting that we then sit and put our legs up and either watch TV, surf the net, or chill out that way. It is amazing that the amount of research that has come out as of late showing that not exercising may be worse for your health than smoking, and this is an expensive study. It was actually published in the Journal of American Medical Association Network, Open published last October, and the researchers at the Cleveland Clinic studied over 122,000 patients from 1991 to 2014. So the 13-year period, putting them under treadmill testing and later recording mortality rates, and they determined that being unfit for on the treadmill or in an exercise stress test has a worse prognosis as far as death is concerned than being hypertensive, being diabetic, or being a current smoker. The lead researcher said that we have never seen something as pronounced as this and as objective as this. So listen, there are numerous reasons we've got to get off our butts and got to start moving. This is one of the best mood enhancers out there. This is the best antidepressant. We get those happy endorphins rushing, serotoxin level up, serotoxins levels up. A great reason to wake up early and do a little exercise. And when I say exercise, I even include 5 to 15 minutes of walking. It improves your brain health, it gets your blood flowing, and it helps prevent Alzheimer's and brain shrinkage. It also boosts your immune system. You'll be at a much better off fending off colds and flus when you get the daily dose of exercise, and it increases your appetite. And if any of you are having hard time with this food, all of a sudden you start to do a little running, a little biking, a little swimming, a little walking, dancing, CrossFit, whatever it is. All of a sudden you're gonna start to wake up, and that bowl of oatmeal with blueberries and some chia seed and a bit of oat milk, it will look mighty fine. So tired. It is absolutely fantastic for bone health or osteoporosis. Again, we sit way too much, and the best thing we can do for our bone health, because we are getting all the calcium we need, the best thing you can do is some weight-bearing exercises. Your bones are living, breathing, dynamic structures just like muscles. If you do not use your muscle, what happens? They atrophy. If you do not use your bones, what is going to happen? They are going to be weak and brittle. So let's do some sort of weight-bearing exercises 3 times a week, and you won't believe what happened to your bones. They will enhance your energy. It will enhance your energy. Sometimes the last thing you want to do when you get home at night or in the morning is to wake up and put on those shoes and go out the door for a little walk, run or jog or bike. But you do it, and it will give you so much energy back that you'll be even more productive during the day, and you'll be more productive when it comes home from work or at night. And you want to be with your wife, be with kids. Now you can be with them and be present and play with them. It is always easier to go out of bed and have a nice day of exercise. You sleep that much more soundly and peacefully when you get up, all of a sudden, before you realize and before long you realize, wow, I do not need that alarm clock. Okay. And then the last thing I want to talk about is muscle wasting, which happens to every one of us who are over the age of 30. In order for us to preserve our muscle mass, which is in our thighs, in our bicep, in our bodies, we want to exercise. We do not want to lose our muscle mass. It increases our resting metabolic rate. And that is the rate at which we burn calories when we are resting, when we are sleeping, when we are chilling out, when we are sitting. It can also help prevent spills and falls, and then prevent a downward spiral, especially when we get into our 60s and 70s and 80s. So for all these reasons, I want you to get out there, get your move on, and get your groove on, so you do not regret it. Okay, let's do a quick recap on the 7 pillars in less than 90 seconds. If you have reached this far in this video, thank you for listening, and leave a comment down below. Pillar number 1, why we love plants. This is where all the honor and all the glory and nutrition is found. It is in plants. Pillar number 2, why we love whole plants. Processed, refined plant-based foods, animal products. This is not where all the glory is found. We want to make sure we are getting whole plant-based foods that is close to grown as possible. They are swimming with the perfect balance of macronutrients and micronutrients. All the fiber, the water, the phytonutrients, the antioxidant, the vitamin, the minerals, these are going to get you where you want to get to by reversing your chronic Western diseases and be the healthiest version of you. Sorry, I very tired already. Pillar number 3. Why we are going to be drinking water for these 7 days. We are not going to be drinking our calories. We are going to be macerating all our food, and you are not going to believe the difference. Pillar number 4. Why we care about caloric density. This is the number of calories in a pound of food. The reason is so relevant because as human beings, we are hardwired to consume between 3 to 5 pounds of food a day. The principle called volumetrics. And if you are consuming whole plant-based food, if you follow the pillar number 2, you're consuming food that are calorically light, nutrients dense, loaded with water and fiber, and bulking capacity, and now you get to eat 5, 6, 7 pounds of food a day, and you still have the capacity to lose weight without counting calories or worrying about portion control. Pillar number 5 is why we do not care on the hill of beans about protein. You just need to know that when you're eating whole plant-based food, you are not only getting you are getting not only complete sets of protein, you are getting an abundance of protein in the perfect composition, proportion, and balance. So fret not, you are getting the Goldilocks version of protein. Pillar number 6 is why we got to limit salt, sugar, and fat. If it comes to label reading ninja warrior, if you become a label reading ninja warrior, you do not have to worry about overdosing on salt, sugar, and fat, especially when it comes to pre-packaged canned and boxed food products. Now you have the upper hand. And pillar number 7 is why we want to move, why we want to exercise, even if it is just 5 to 10 minutes a day. In a nutshell, I want you to eat a copious amount of whole plant-strong foods, as close to grown as possible. We are talking about fruits. I don't care if they are fresh or frozen. Vegetable, again, I don't care if they are fresh or frozen. Whole intact grains, the myriad of them all. Potatoes, I don't care what size, what color, knock yourself out. And of course, the amazing world of legumes, split peas, lentils, and beans. This means bowls of oatmeal with blueberries, sliced bananas, and peaches with chia seeds for breakfast. That means 2 sweet potatoes with steamed chopped up kale on top, and a means of bowl of brown rice with black beans and sliced up bell peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, green onions, and avocado with some salsa and low sodium tamari. Remember, we do not want you to drink your calorie this week. We want you to be moving 5 to 10 minutes a day, and aside from that, we really love it if you eat your green leafies at every meal. They are a nutritional powerhouse, calorie for calorie, and they are going to get you the biggest bang for your buck with leafy greens. This is a prescription that I learned from Dr. Esselstyn, and it's so important because it helps you to heal, reverse your disease, and get those endothelial cells, which are the innermost lining of our 65,000 miles of vessels, and it gets pumping out pumping out nitric oxide, which is going to allow those blood vessels to be useful and elastic again.